Welcome to Amish Roots. I'm so glad you've joined me. When I was Amish in my 30s, I taught for 1 year in the Amish school in my community. It was a one-room school, and I taught grades 5 to 8, while another girl taught grades 1 to 4. Because we were all in one room, it was not uncommon for us to hear what was happening on either side of the classroom. It also gave both teachers opportunity to get to know all the children and their habits and personalities. My co teacher had a set of two brothers on her side of the classroom. One was in grade 1, the other was in grade 2. The two boys could be mistaken for twins, as they were so similar in looks and size. However, the one was very shy, and the other was excitable and talkative. One morning, after arriving at school, they went to the basement to hang up their hats and leave their lunch pails. Suddenly, my co teacher and I heard loud whispering and clattering on the stairs. The two boys rushed into the classroom, all excited, and they both started talking at once. They told us that they had something special at home, and it started with "ha," meaning the letter P. Glancing at each other, my coworker and I grinned and decided to play the guessing game with them. We first asked some questions to establish where exactly this special item was located on their farm. We inquired if it was in the house, in the barn, in one of the sheds, or in the yard. After each answer, the boys always informed us that it started with "ha." When we discovered it was in the barn, we both figured it was puppies, but decided to play along since they were so excited. I guessed penguin. They quickly said no, giggling as they bounced up and down, and then added, "It starts with ha." The other teacher guessed porcupine, and the boys both shook their heads furiously and replied, "No, no, it starts with ha." We were both trying not to laugh while we guessed other P animals like panda, polar bear, and parrot. And every time they would get more excited and say, "No, it starts with ha." Finally, the other teacher guessed puppies, only to be told once again that no, that wasn't right. It starts with ha. That is when it dawned on me to ask if it was pigeons. They all but danced in circles because we had finally guessed their special surprise. After telling us very solemnly that we should come and see them sometime, they ran outside to tell the other children. Imagine being so excited over pigeons. My co teacher and I had a good laugh about that. She was happy, however, that they realized that the beginning sound of pigeons was "pa." One day, my co teacher had to leave early for an appointment and asked me to watch her class for the rest of the day. She had given them work to do, and I only had to check on them if they had questions. The task of grades 1 and 2 was to look through magazines and cut out pictures that began with the letter K. They were then supposed to glue them on a paper, and when they were finished, I was to check on their work to make sure the pictures matched the sound of K or K. All the children quietly started browsing magazines. The brother in grade 2 was a dreamer, so he was casually turning pages, more interested in the pictures than finding K words. However, the brother in grade 1 began flipping pages, chanting out loud, "Ha, ha, ha, ha," stopping only long enough to snip out a picture. I finally had to tell him to sound out the words quietly, as he was making the other students giggle. They had approximately 1 hour left in their day to complete the work. But after only 10 minutes, He put up his hand to let me know he was finished. Knowing he could not have found pictures that quickly, I was curious to see what he had pasted on his page. As soon as I saw his paper, I knew he would have some explaining to do. I pointed to the first picture, which showed a tub of margarine, and I asked, "What is this?" He quickly replied, Container. Okay, I decided to let him have that one. I pointed to a photo of a coat. He said, Coat. So I explained that yes, he had the right sound, but coat starts with C, not K. Hiding a smile, I asked about the next picture, which was a cow. Again, I had to tell him it starts with C, not K. Encouraged him, saying that he had the right sound, just not the right letter. He frowned at me as if to say, "What do you know? I got it right." It was the last picture that really had me stumped. How could he possibly think a toboggan was going to fit in with the letter K, much less the sound of ha, which he had been reciting to himself as he looked through the magazines? When I pointed at the picture, he immediately responded without any prompting from me and informed me it was a toboggan. Translating from Pennsylvania Dutch to English was sometimes troublesome for the students, especially when they first started school. So hearing them mispronounce words or struggling to get the right sounds was not unusual. There were also times where English words were verhuddled with Dutch. Verhuddled means mixed up. It certainly made for some lighter moments in the classroom and great stories to share after hours. Ah, as the rain falls gently outside this morning, I am dreaming of a November day when the snow will come again and I can get out my toboggan. Ah, mach's gut, and see you next time on Amish Roots. Plain talk in a modern world.